today we listened to, and actually over the past 4 days, today included, they had a Thursday session for the press and industry people to listen to the systems here at THE Show. And then on Friday, the public came in. So we had lots of ample opportunity to listen to a lot of systems.
Right.
And I'd like to lead off with, like, we always like to talk in reviewer's view about what sounded good. Like, what rooms did you guys like? Does that correlate with what I heard if I was at the show? What, I trust your ears. What did you think?
Yeah. Boy, that's a good question, and I'm going to be interested to hear your answer on that, too.
Okay, well, I'm going to lead off with a couple here. I have a little list. It's down by my off camera here. I'm going to lead off with something that we've discovered. It was about 1.5 years ago. We saw these odd speakers at one of the shows that go up against the wall. And they have this little angular cutout, and they have a tweeter that fits in it. And I thought, what is that? And it ends up that the technology's been around since the late 1950s. The guy who brought it to market worked for the man who developed the technology, and his name is Larson. And he has now come out with and been producing the loudspeaker for several years, brought to market through a distributor here, Audio Skies,
Right.
in Southern California. And there's no way that I could believe how good that sounded today. Now, we heard it at CES and it sounded okay, and you guys have seen a couple videos of it. So I want to do a shout out to Larson in the Audio Skies room, the Vanessa Fernandez that we bring to the shows. She floated in space, and it was truly, truly magical.
Yeah, yeah. I think that Michael Vamos,
Isn't he cool? Yeah,
he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Yep.
He and I connected and talked. Matter of fact, a little earlier today. He's doing a great job with those. We reviewed them in positive feedback, I think, about 1.5 years ago, and we ended up giving him a Writer's Choice Award.
How about that?
Yeah, it was really. And the nice thing about them too is you can place them right up against walls. So in places like apartments and the like, where you're a little limited in the space, they take bringing it way out into the room out of the equation. You don't have to bring it a third of the way out into the room.
That's it. Yeah.
Devote the room.
Yeah. Forget the Pearson rules of threes on that. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
no. You don't have to
exactly.
do that. It's much like Audio Node, where the speakers are back in the corners. Another shout out to them. They did an admirable job at the show producing some really fine music. And when you go into an Audio Node room, you hear a lot of music.
Yeah. Out of speakers that you'd look at and say, well, gee, that looks like throwback.
It's a total throwback.
And then you start listening to the music and you're going, you got to be kidding me.
I know.
I first heard those back in the early '90s. And one of my friends who was an engineer was so totally flummoxed by an Angaku amp together with those speakers that it converted him to SET on the spot.
How do you like that?
He never came back from that.
There you go. Well, let's move on. Let's see. Up on that floor, that was a top floor. We worked our way top to bottom. The Audio Machina loudspeakers, they're a aluminum-based loudspeaker. They're made here in California. They team up with Einstein.
Oh.
And they had that kind of the blue light going on in the room, and you'll see images from the different periodicals and also in our video of this blue shimmering. It almost looks like you're in a UFO, and it was like being in a soundstage. I mean, it was very accurate, very lifelike. Did you get to that room and see that?
I didn't get to that.
You would have remembered that. Yeah, you would have remembered the blue.
No, matter of fact, I spent a lot of my time locked in our room, just hosting the hospitality suite, which was great, by the way.
That's great. Yeah.
As a side note, the vibe here, wasn't it a great show? Just overall.
Viewers, we got to this show. In fact, let's roll back a year. We took a tour of the hotel with Richard Beers, the show organizer, and we went in and we go, oh my gosh, this is a really big hotel. How are we all going to fit here? How are we going to, where's the live music going to be? And, oh, the bar area is so small. How's this going to happen? It's a home run. This is the best show venue, I think, in audio today.
Yeah, I had the general consensus of Dave and Carol and Lila and I was that this is the best audio show we've ever been to. I mean, so I would tip my hat to Richard Beers and Bob Levy and
the
LLC.
Society. Yep.
Yeah, they just did a fantastic job putting this together.
They did.
And I have not run into one person amongst the general audience that hasn't said anything other than they're having a fantastic time. Big party.
Yeah, it's a big
party. If you weren't here, You missed out.
Yeah, and you know what? You don't have to spend an arm and a leg at the snack bar. The soda pops for $1.99. You can get a full breakfast for $9. I mean, how about the gouging when we're on the road and we go and get the breakfast buffets and you order bacon and eggs and it's $18 and you take it and it's dry. And the food's good here too.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Fantastic.
And then leading on the live music. The live music is adjacent to that whole restaurant area. So
Right.
we have Anne Besson, we have Lynn Stanley, we have Fiona Joy, we have Tony Bennett's daughter singing. I mean,
Andrew Lee.
Andra Lee, Bob Levy's daughter. I mean, how cool is that? All the time. So you're
Right.
always hearing music, and if you're not hearing that, you're hearing a string quartet.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
that was cool.
It was as good as any show I've been to. I ran into Anne Besson in the elevator this morning, and she was really bubbling. She's having a great time.
That's great. That's super. That's really good. Well, I'm going to do another shout out to a room here. A room and a company that I've been following. We've reviewed, and I don't know, has possibly reviewed ModWright equipment?
Oh, many times.
I thought so. We have too. And this show, usually ModWright exhibits with Daedalus. And Lou Daedalus makes these beautiful, he's an expert craftsman, he's an expert woodmaker, a great speaker designer, teams up with Dan Wright at ModWright. And this is one of the first shows I've heard ModWright without Daedalus.
Right.
And we heard it with the $40,000 TADs.
Right.
And let me tell you, ModWright has arrived.
Yes.
That was a big room. That was a big sound. It was a detailed sound. It had the finesse and it had the sophistication of a D'Agostino or of a Constellation. ModWright, you were there.
Yeah. Dan Wright was fantastic. He and I talked about it. He has a feel for what he's doing. He is in such a groove. And Lou over at Dallas, it's the same thing. I mean, they tour together, and they're together along with Alex over at Y-Wires. I mean, it's like the three brothers. You know?
That's right. It's a traveling show, the three of them together.
And the synergy is fantastic. This is the first time that I had heard ModWright with something other.
Same here.
And I came away very impressed.
Yeah, me too.
I thought the TADs sounded fantastic.
I did too. I thought they were fantastic. And speaking of TADs, Andrew Jones, who's been the chief designer for TAD, has left TAD. And he's started a new, it's a US based ELAC. It's a German company, loudspeaker company. And he's here at the show introducing a loudspeaker for $229.
Yeah.
It's this big, it's that wide, you put it on a little stand and it fills the room with music. And I think that really can show the industry what we can do if we have some really good design chops working with a company that can have the engineering and the distribution. So
I would have to say I heard more about that speaker and that room from the people floating through this room than I did about anything else, which amazes me. I mean, it's a little 229 speaker, and people were saying it's absolutely killing it.
Yep. Well, I just flipped over my notes, and my notes are popped up here. Did you get into the EAR room?
You mean with Dan Meinwald?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I never missed Dan's rooms. He had absolutely those monitor speakers he had going with the usual EAR stuff.
Yeah, usually EAR stuff, but this time instead of having the taller Martins that are this big or so, and he had the little monitors, and they utterly disappeared.
Yeah. Grand Slam.
Yeah, agreed.
Really
Ball out of park on that room. Yeah, that was really, really good.
And he always plays real music. Dan Meinwald
Yeah.
knows music, and so when Dan plays stuff, I mean, if he tells me something's good, it's good. I trust him.
Now you're a reel-to-reel tape fan. I am too. How about the Prana Fidelity room? Remember spinning up? They had the big Studer deck in there. Was that sweet or what? And you'll hear it on the video. And close your eyes when you play that video because it's like you're in the room with us.
Well, you know, one thing that you learn in this industry, and I know that you know this, is you learn who knows the good stuff. You learn who gets it. Those people, you go to their room year in, year out. And Joe Cohen gets it.
Gets it.
Gets it. So, absolutely agree.
Well, I'm going to throw one out there, and I don't know if you guys do any work with Voxative. We've never reviewed a Voxative product. Stereophile gave them an award a couple years ago. We've been listening to them at the shows, and time again, I'm drawn into the music. They take the room out of the equation by pushing the speakers back a little bit. Great shout out for the pi. What a pi is 9.87, and then the following numbers. Do you remember from school? 9.87. I'm like,
got the 3.1416.
there you go. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. You saved me. I went to Wharton. I should have known that. Durr. So anyway, it's the pi speaker with the woofer attached to it. Coming in, I believe there was a $27,000 product. It's not inexpensive, but boy, it really come alive and make big sound. Speaking of big sound from smaller format products, Goldman. Did you see the Goldman?
I didn't get to Goldman.
Man, was that cool. I mean, it's this big, it's that tall, has a gold top on it. You put a little, you put a dongle in your PC, it reads it, it sends it out, it's up and running with the Bluetooth. I mean, it's got amplifiers, it's got the DACs built right in. Lifestyle product for going out and, you have a friend that says, gosh, I really like your rig, but all those amplifiers and wires, like how do you deal with that? Because you plunk that speaker down and it was creating the sound of almost a symphony orchestra right there in front of us. I was blown away.
And Goldman has been a reference standard product for
That's the thing.
forever.
Michelle Riverton, who's the head of Goldman, was here today, and he takes all those years of listening to these expensive, gigantic products, or big speaker systems, the Epilogue, and he has those years. He's built this into a small, more lifestyle-oriented product. Hey, hats off. Hats off to you. Yeah, very good. Give me a room. Throw me a room.
Well, let's see. Definitely the GTT audio room for sure. What Bill Parrish and Joe Cabala and company have put together in that room is, as usual, a complete knockout. They had the big YGs in.
Yep, the Sonyas.
Yeah, and when we were at Expona, they had gone down to a smaller system. They were running the Carmel 2s, which were glorious, but they're much smaller. Well, he had the full range system in. They had 4 amps in the room, the big 4
Yeah, they bi-amp the Sonyas.
and tri-wired off the bi-amp.
That's right, with the Audio Net Max amplifiers. Yeah.
Right, so we had all Cabala saws and elation.
Elation level, yeah.
They had the
Kronos,
Kronos
Limited
Pro.
Edition Pro. Yeah,
the Pro turntable.
Yeah.
And it was just glorious. I mean, I listened to LP after LP. And the scale was enormous.
Yeah, wasn't it? It really was. The speakers stand tall in the room. The room has a little bit of windows behind it. We closed the curtains for the listening session, then for the video shoot. And I'll tell you, it's like you're in your own little personal recording studio. And it's a big space. It was very intimate and it was very realistic. It was really spot on.
Another room was obviously the MBL.
Obviously MBL. In fact, I just left MBL before we came up here, and they were playing, I forget the name of the track. I'd heard the track many times. And actually, the MBLs were sounding pretty good here on Sunday. And they've been getting some, dings on the internet reports. I don't agree with that. They were sounding really good, real linear sound.
Very linear, and this time around, they had 4 amps in there too. So they were bi-amping, and it was absolutely extraordinary. I mean, they're coming off the UHA, Greg Barron's UHA.
That's right.
Phase 12S
deck.
tape deck, playing nothing but analog tape, and I've got to tell you, it was just startling.
Hey, I shake your hand on that one, man. That was really good. That was good.
That was a good room.
That was a good room. Now I'm going to throw one out here that's kind of new to the viewers. Is Diasol from Japan, and they teamed up with Concert Fidelity, another Japanese electronics manufacturer. A very unique speaker. You'll see it in the video. It's a sphere that holds the tweeters. There's 4 of them mounted in the face of the sphere, so it's got very wide dispersion for the treble. It's got a mid-range firing directly out at you, and then it's got a lower woofer that fires. It's attached. There's 2 of them. They fire both together, left and right, like this, and push out the low frequencies left, right. I heard an orchestral recording, the Nutcracker,
Right.
and the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies. You'll hear it, viewers. I'll tell you, it was this. As I was at Verizon Hall in Philadelphia, it was magical.
Right.
I'll tell you, sometimes the Japanese can really just cut through and get to the beauty of music.
Exactly.
Don't they? They just have a knack.
Well, they have a commitment to. They have a passion.
Passion, yeah.
And at their heights, I think they helped to set a world standard there.
I think so too.
Yeah. I'll tell you another room that really knocked me out was going down to the blue light audio room with the when you start getting into the stuff that the big Dart Zeal system with the Evolution Acoustics, the MM2s with this new filter network that they have constructed there, where the MM2s were suddenly sounding very much closer to the huge MM7s.
How about that? Now, I missed that room, and so I'm cheating, so I'm sitting here listening in this room. We have the baby system here, and I did not get that treat.
Oh, that was what we have here, the Evolution Acoustics MM Micro 1s, but those MM2s are what I actually have in my listening room.
Oh, great, good.
And so I know the sound. Well, they've added a new filtering network and crossover system that transforms those MM2s. I've known the MM2s for years. You listen to that, and I was just absolutely floored. And of course, all Dart Zeal.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I have Dart Zeal way at the top of my list for electronics. I really do. I mean, it's like AudioNet in the GTT audio room. Here you have these two Swiss manufacturers.
I know.
Going at it with the results are just spectacular. So Jonathan Tin and Company, Kevin Malmgren, the designer.
Designer of loudspeakers. Kevin does the loudspeakers.
He was in there. Ed Sidario, who's the local distributor and so forth. They put together a magnificent room. It really was magnificent. So, shout to the guys.
Shout to those guys. Anything more to stand out for you?
Well, yeah, there's some of the, like I said, the Dan Wright. We talked about Michael Vomas. It's interesting. You picked up on a lot of the exact same rooms that I did as being outstanding.
Well, we're veteran listeners. We've been doing this a long time. We have similar sensitivities. I think we work well together with discovering and talking about and listening to great components.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's one reason why when I give my Positive Feedback Audio Oasis Awards, that's why you're going to find over the years that there are some of the actors. It's not like I'm running out of ideas.
There's
consistency, year in, year out,
consistency.
So it really comes down to if you see a pattern in a skilled reviewers where you're saying, "Gee, he seems to talk about it all the time." My response is, and you should pay attention.
You should pay attention, and I'll think of what I had not put on the list right in front of me. The Bling room. I like the turntables from Tom Vu, and Tom Vu was at CES this year, and he heard the acapellas. It was a mid-level acapella speaker, and he bought it for his showroom, and he has that set up. And you're going to see pictures galore all over the internet, audio porn. Let me tell you, that sounded good. It sounded musical. Visually, it was just knock your socks off your feet. It was just a bling machine.
Did you get a chance to drop in on any of the seminars?
No, I did not. I missed them. I'm too big. Folks, my problem here, David, you're so damn you. I've got to walk around with a video camera and capture all this.
Curse you, sir.
They curse you, sir.
Well, I wanted to, for the viewers, understand that they had what they called the Audio University series going here.
I saw that,
which was kind of fun. Yeah. But the presentations this time were really a lot of fun. Very, very substantive, but informative and then entertaining too. If you come to one of these shows, next year if you attend the show, you'll want to take a look at the seminar list. Don't just drop into the rooms. The viewers should keep in mind there's some great people to actually be able to see, hear, and even ask questions.
Interact with. That's the thing. Interact with us. And when you see us, if you come to a show, stop us and ask us questions.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the success of this venue is not only did you have 4 working elevators that were fast, but you also had the live music, you had the seminars, You had excellent food and drink in the restaurants.
Yep,
I
great.
mean, the breakfasts were great.
Yep.
They were the best priced, great food that
Yep.
I had heard
Yep.
in quite a long that I'd had in a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
so it all contributed to a vibe that I think is unique. It was really, really, really good.
I do too, and I'd like to end this on a high five note, and I want to high five all the organizers who did the shows, set the
Right.
show up, the Los Angeles Orange County Audiophile Society,
Exactly.
Bob Levy, Richard Beers. You guys know what you're doing.
Yep.
And it was fantastic, and we enjoyed it as reviewers, and everybody who was in the rooms with us had a smile on their face, and they enjoyed
Exactly.
it too.
Best show ever.
Best show ever.
If you repeat this again next year, the only thing that's going to be better than this year's show will be next year's show.
There you go. You heard it here in Reviewer's View. I'm Peter Breuninger with AV Showrooms, and
David Robinson, Positive Feedback.
thank you very much, and we'll see you at the next show.
Take care now.
Take care.